Chicago Cubs news today.
Two teams want two of our players at the same time, and the front office might actually let it happen. Is this smart business, or the beginning of the roster teardown everyone feared? I think I have an answer. And it isn't pretty. Look, I know you guys are used to trade rumors around the Cubs. Every other week, someone brings up the name of one of our players and we start sweating. But this one feels different, because we're not talking about just any prospect. We're talking about Seiya Suzuki and Matt Shaw, two major league players, and two big market teams are watching them at the same time. Let me explain what's really happening behind this story. If you're part of the Northside Nation, stick around until the end, because I'm going to give you my full opinion on this situation. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, take care of that right now. We talk Cubs baseball here every single day. I believe Jed Hoyer is using the media as a tool. Seeing Suzuki's and Shaw's names connected to the Yankees and Guardians is not an accident. It's positioning. It's creating artificial demand before the trade deadline. And honestly, it may be the smartest thing this front office has done in months. Now, whether the real intention is to trade these guys or simply drive up their value before announcing they're staying, I still don't know. But something is moving behind the scenes. And it's rarely a good sign when two major teams show up at the same time. In my opinion, trading Seiya Suzuki would be a mistake that could hurt for years. I know his numbers in 2026 aren't out of this world. A .247 batting average, a .33333 on-base percentage, and a .409 slugging percentage. That's not MVP production, but it's consistency on a roster that's struggling to generate offense. And he has 9 home runs. At 31 years old, he still has something left in the tank. The problem is that he becomes a free agent at the end of the season. Then the front office decides to sell instead of trying to extend him. My cardiologist would probably forbid me from watching any Jed Hoyer meeting about that subject. Clutch Points published an analysis on June 11, 2026, suggesting that the New York Yankees and Cleveland Guardians should consider making offers for Seiya Suzuki and Matt Shaw before the MLB trade deadline. The Yankees' situation is straightforward. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton are injured. The team urgently needs right-handed hitters. Suzuki fits that profile. Shaw does as well because of his defensive versatility. Meanwhile, the Guardians recently lost first place in the American League Central to the Chicago White Sox. That's not a sentence many Guardians fans expected to hear in June. Cleveland needs offensive help if it wants to hold on to the division race and make a deep playoff run. The Cubs, meanwhile, earned a 9-3 victory on Thursday, but their overall performance this season remains below expectations. The front office is evaluating its options, and apparently, moving major league pieces is one of them. Matt Shaw is 24 years old. In 2026, he's hitting .240 with a .288 on-base percentage and a .396 slugging percentage. The numbers don't jump off the page at first glance, but Shaw has years of team control remaining. For a team like the Yankees or Guardians, paying a relatively low price for a young, versatile player who still has room to grow is exactly the type of move smart organizations make at the trade deadline. Suzuki, on the other hand, is the higher value win-now piece. 31 years old, solid defensively, and with legitimate power at the plate. He isn't the same Suzuki we saw in 2022, but he's still better than most outfielders currently available on the trade market. What stands out here is that Suzuki has already appeared in previous trade rumors this season. This isn't the first time his name has surfaced. Shaw's name has also come up in front office discussions. When a player's name appears in trade rumors with increasing frequency, it's usually because the front office is actively putting that player into conversations. Craig Counsell also recently provided an update on Jameson Taillon, which suggests roster management is being handled aggressively. The timing of this article, coming less than 2 months before the trade deadline, doesn't feel like a coincidence. Someone is testing the market, and the Cubs may be more willing to sell than they're publicly admitting. If Suzuki gets traded, I see 2 possible outcomes. 1. The Cubs use the return package of prospects to strengthen the farm system and build toward 2028. 2. They sell, fail to extend anyone else, miss their competitive window, and we end up watching a rebuild disguised as a transition. Bleacher Bums, Do you realize this front office has a history of choosing the second option while convincing itself it's choosing the first? Because I do. And that worries me far more than any trade rumor ever could. But now I want to hear from you. Would you trade Suzuki and Shaw for prospects? Or would the front office be throwing away the competitive window for good? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of everything happening with the Cubs, make sure you're subscribed.